Okay, so as you can see here, we are now on the first question. Before we read the question, if you just see at the top here, it says questions 1 to 3 are about document 1. So you instantly know from the beginning what questions you're looking for which document. I have seen a number of candidates during marking their mock papers, they often read the wrong question or the wrong document for the question, and this will affect the answers and they will just lose the marks automatically. So it's easy marks. So always read it here at the top. It will tell you which questions are for which document. Okay, so let's get into the first question. So what is meant by the phrase put out the fires that other people start? So this phrase, we have to look for the definition. So always look in the context of which the phrase is being used in order to derive the meaning of the phrase. In this second paragraph, in the second column, you can see it says, when someone loses their cool, you have to make sure you don't. It's your job to keep calm and put out the fires that other people start. So you have to derive sort of from the context in which the phrase is being used. Try and derive, try and see what sentences are around it, and sort of try and figure out what it means. This phrase is an example of an idiomatic expression. You must be aware that this question is common in exams. Although it's 1 mark, it's not a hard mark to gain, so you should try and get the mark if you can, because 1 mark can make all the difference in the exam. Putting out fires, put out the fires. So putting out fires is an expression in the English language which means to resolve problems. For example, the problem is the fire, and putting it out means it has been resolved. So it's sort of, from what they're saying in this paragraph, it's trying to sort out the problem. So if someone loses their cool, you must sort out the problem. Try and keep calm and sort out the problem. So that's sort of what the definition is. You can. There's no set way you have to write the definition, but I'll just write it simply: resolve problems. Your answers must be short and sweet. You don't need to write long, intelligent, worded sentences to get the marks. All you need to do is sort of just be straight to the point. That's how you get the marks in this paper. In the second question, what are the 4 layout characteristics that are shown that show this document is an article? Okay, so let's have a look. So the layout characteristics is how the text is presented. This question is very, very common in exams. Sorry. So you must be aware of how to locate the layout characteristics. So how the text is presented. So has it got a picture, which you can see here it has. Has it got columns? What style of what type of text um, allows it to form is in a specific style? So you can see here it has a title, it has a picture, it has author's name, it has columns, paragraphs. So all you need to do is list 4 of these. So the first 4 I can see here is image. That definitely shows that this is an article, because many articles have pictures. They also always have a title, so that's another mark. Also in the article, the author always publishes his name, so you can write the author's name here, author's name, and it's also sort of very obvious that it has columns because it's got 2 set amount of paragraphs on separate sides, so it also has columns. Okay, so that's 4 answers which you've gained immediately, and it's an easy 4 marks because it's sort of very easy to see which what are the layout characteristics from basically looking at the text. You don't need to go into too much detail. You just need to see what kind of things they are, like bold text, is it different font sizes, a number of things you can have. Okay, so let's move on to the third question. What are the 2 implications of having a poor network of contacts? Support your answers with evidence from the text. Okay, so implications. What are implications? So implications means that the conclusion that can be drawn from something, although it's not explicitly stated. So you must be looking for ambiguous sentences where you're able to derive a meaning from. So the key word in this question is poor network of contacts. So you need to find out where this are speaking about a network of contacts and what the implication could mean of having a poor network. So what are the consequences you could have basically if you had a poor network of contacts? So I believe here in this bottom area on this side, on in this paragraph, success in the music industry relies more on who you know than what you know. So it's this sentence is saying that to have success in the music industry, you must have a good network of contacts, essentially. So what could a poor network of contacts be? So you can derive an implication from this sentence. So a poor network could mean a lack of success in the music industry. As this is a 4-mark question as well, you must support your answers with evidence from the text. So this is the quote, and the implication is a poor network means a lack of success. So, okay, so that's 2 marks. So we also need to find another implication. So you should be aware if you find a sort of similar wording, you will find a similar answer in the same sort of area occasionally. So this could be the case. So if we have a look here, it does not have to mean the end of your career as a band manager if you have successfully built up a network of influential contacts. So again, this is talking about contacts. It does not have to mean the end of your career as a band manager if the band falls apart. So it's saying you still have employment prospects if you have got a network of influential contacts. But you have to flip this around on the other side and think if there was a poor network of contacts, there could be a lack of employment prospects. So essentially, so you could say that a lack of employment prospects it does not have to mean the end. Sorry guys. It does not have to mean the end of your career if you have successfully built up a network of influential contacts. Again, you can move the document around. I should have mentioned this earlier, but you can move the document around if you want to look at the question. You can move it left or up or anywhere on the screen that you want to move it in order to um, you want to manage your time effectively, so you must be able to read the question. Always read the question first, then read the document, because that's how you know when you can highlight the relevant information that you need. Because there's no point. I've seen often candidates read the document first, and then read the question. That's very pointless in my eyes because you're not going to remember everything that's contained within the document. You need to read the question first, so you can locate the information um, within the document. Okay, let's move on to question 4. So identify the purpose of document 2 and provide one reason from the text to support your answer. So here we're looking at what type of document is this. So this is document 2 now. So music industry tutorials. So purposes of text can range from can have many different forms such as persuading, to inform, to instruct. So among others. So you must look within the document and sort of derive it. Don't spend too long on this. You can sort of gauge what type of the purpose of this document is. Sorry guys, I think I've just closed. Might have to go back on it. Sorry guys. So I've had to do the setting again. Sorry, question 4, yeah, so I can see this is a simple guide. This is the title itself, Music Industry Tutorial. So a tutorial is when you're trying to help someone figure something out or give someone information, provide information. So it's sort of the purpose of this text is often, you can say, to provide information. And this is, you can derive this just from reading the title, Music Industry Tutorials. Because a tutorial is often a guide for, it even says here it's a simple guide. So it's guiding, uh, it's about band manager contracts. So it's trying to give some information about band manager contracts before, um, just to provide information. But yeah, so that's question 4 done. Question 5. Give 2 possible consequences that are implied by document 2 if unfair contracts are negotiated. So here in this section here, band manager contract basics. So it gives you some bullet pointed lists of examples of what a basic contract should look like. So a good contract. So as you can see, so you should have a simple contract that covers money, division of labor, and the length of agreement. So you could say immediately, um, a consequence could be that if unfair contracts are negotiated, there will be an unfair division of labor. Also, here the length of the agreement, the length unfair or unequal, unfair length of agreement. Again, too long or too short. So the contract could be not to the benefit of the band manager. It could be a too long of a contract or too short of a contract. You could also have a fair contract term is 1 year. So you could say it could be shorter than 1 year, longer than 1 year is unfair. There could be issues of trust. Um, so yeah, so you sort of have to see over here. It's not going to give you the answer straight away. Obviously, you will have to use some of your logic and your knowledge to see that this is what our contract should look like, and I should flip it around and sort of derive from here what the consequences could be if unfair contracts are negotiated. This is quite like the question about the implications of a poor network of contacts, because it doesn't explicitly state about the poor network. It states about the what a good network looks like. So you will have to use some of your nous and your knowledge to work some of these questions out. Okay, so there we go. Unfair division of labor, unfair length of agreement. So let's move on to the next question. So here, this is very important in the exam. Language techniques are certainly something that would definitely come up in the exam. So you must have good knowledge of these prior to sitting the exam. So do revise these, please. So document 2 uses some or all of the following techniques. So you've got idioms, cliches, humor, alliteration, rhetorical questions, and colloquial expressions. Identify and give 2 examples of these techniques being used in the text and explain how they help to convey meaning. Okay, so here you can see it's asking for the technique and example and then the explanation of the technique. Okay, so document 2. Okay, so we look for language techniques. Any of these, some or all of these, so immediately I can see here, the rhetorical question is very easy to spot, so you can see it straight away. Do you really know what you are getting yourself into? So that's the first technique. So we found rhetorical question. Do you really know what you are getting yourself into? And what's the explanation? So what does this mean? So in the rhetorical question, especially for the explanation of a rhetorical question, they don't want to know what is a rhetorical question. So it's a question that doesn't need to be answered, but they're asking for what does the rhetorical question mean within the context of the document. So do you really know what you're getting yourself into? So do you know that late nights, life on the road, so dealing with musicians' egos. So they're sort of asking, do you know what you're getting yourself into? Do you know that you're getting yourself into hard work? So so that's the explanation. So do you realize? Are you aware that this will be hard work? A warning that this job will be hard work. Okay, so please read the context in which the language technique is being used to find the explanation for a rhetorical question. For many of the other techniques, they will just ask you for the definition of the technique itself. So here we go. It doesn't have to be complicated. So this one, the fact that they're using a apostrophe is quite informal. This sentence, so it's sort of an example of a colloquial expression. So this is certainly a colloquial expression because of the way it's being used, the apostrophe, the use of doesn't, expression. It doesn't have to be complicated. Informal language. So a colloquial expression is basically informal language, and this, as you can see here, is quite informal the way this is being listed. Okay. So that's question 6 done. Question 7. Identify 5 examples of opinions presented as a fact from document 3. This is very important. Uh, Opinions presented as facts or biased phrases will definitely come up in the exam. So you must be very familiar with these. So, opinions presented as fact. What does this mean? So, opinion is someone's belief, a view, or someone's feeling about something or someone. A fact is a statement that can be proven true. So, opinion presented as a fact is someone's view that they are sort of presenting to be true. For example, if I state that I am the best footballer in my school, the word the best, that is of course an opinion because it differentiates between different people. But the fact that I'm using I am, which is a definite statement, which shows it's an opinion presented as a fact. Biased phrases as well. They could either ask you about opinions presented as fact or biased phrases. A biased phrase um, is very important because often candidates struggle in detecting bias within a source document. Again, bias is very similar to opinion presented as fact. It's just a statement that is presented to be true, but it's actually an opinion. It's a one-sided opinion, basically. So we need 5 examples. So that's a lot of marks we need. Um, so we just put 5 points, so we can just list them here. So immediately, what can we see? Wanted band manager. So this is a flyer for a job advert for a band manager. Okay. As you can see here, one of the best groups you will ever see. This is an opinion presented as a fact. So they are not saying we believe we are one of the best. They're saying what we are one of the best. One of the best groups you will ever see. So it's presented as a fact. Again here in these lines, we are the next big thing without a doubt. So they're not doubting, they believe they are. Okay, so we are the next big thing without a doubt. We are the next big thing without a doubt. Okay, this is probably 3 marks. Without a doubt, again, that's basically an opinion without a doubt. Why not join us? Why not get on board and join us on our journey to rock and roll stardom? So they're saying that they will be on the journey to rock and roll stardom without. They're basically saying it as a fact. We are already making waves within the music industry. We are. So again, it's a definite statement. We are already making waves within the music industry. Great. Okay. We need one more, so let's have a look. Let us get on. So here we go in this last paragraph. Let us get on with our jobs of making awesome music. So they're saying that they definitely make awesome music, but again, this is not a fact, but they're stating it like it is a fact because people's music taste can differentiate. One person may like something, may like it, another person may not. So this is not a fact. This is an opinion, but it's presented as a fact. Okay, so here we go. That's for our five answers. So one of the best groups you ever see. We are the next big thing without a doubt. Journey to rock and roll stardom. We're already making waves and making awesome music. So all of these phrases they're stated as facts, even though they are opinions. Okay, here we go. Another 4 mark question. So this is very important that we read this carefully. Identify 2 ways in which the author is using language to persuade people to apply for the position. Support your answers with quotes from the text. Pardon me. So again, language. So we need to identify language techniques. So as it is 4 marks, we can't just identify just 2 language techniques. We need to find the examples. Support your answers with quotes from the text. So we need examples to support um, our quotes. Okay. To persuade people to apply for the position. So here we go. Why not get on board the train and join us on our journey to rock and roll stardom? So this is a question towards anyone applying for the position. Why not join us on our journey to rock and roll stardom? So they're trying to persuade them that they are on a exciting journey to rock and roll stardom. So they're on a journey to success, and they would like the potential manager to join them on that journey. So this is certainly an example of trying to persuade. Okay, that's 2 marks there. So we've stated that he, the author is using a question, and we're given the example here. So because they're trying to convince the band manager to join them on the journey to rock and roll stardom. Again, biased language. So as we've stated previously, um, here about examples presented as a fact, it's also biased. The way they are speaking, it's very opinionated, in which they are saying they're one of the best groups. They are the next big thing, without a doubt. They're very clear and very biased in their portrayal within this flyer. What we can also do is, you can see here, contact us now. This is an imperative phrase, so it's telling the audience what to do. Contact us now. So they're trying quite demanding in their statement. I think this is a good one to use. See, it's an example of another different language technique. Contact us now. So it's very demanding. It's trying to convince anyone trying to apply for this position that they must contact us now. It's very bold in all high uppercase letters, and it's very demanding, and it's an imperative phrase. So there we go. So 2 language techniques and the examples as well. Okay, question 9. Using documents 1 and 3, provide a summary of 4 times the band manager should let the band make decisions. So what's the key word in this question? The band manager should let the band make decisions. So decisions is a keyword that you must look out for in both documents in order to derive. So as it's documents 1 and 3, and it's 4 marks, you need equal amount of answers from each. So document 1 you need 2 answers, and document 3 you also need 2 answers. Okay, so let's open document 1. Let's have a look. Summarizing information that the band manager should. So summarizing allows you to extract the most important points from a text and rewrite them into your own words in a shortened form. Summarizing information is definitely a question that will come up in the exam. So please do revise your knowledge of this and try and. It's basically what this question is highlighting the keyword in the question, and you should be able to find the answer. So the when the four times when the band manager should let the band make decisions. So let's have a look. Let's see what we can find. So document one. Okay, guys. So let's have a look. See what we can find. So band manager should let the band make decisions. So here we go. So you need the confidence to know when to take the control and make decisions. So that's the key word. See the word decisions in the question, we can find it here. And when to step back and let the band decide. So when should the band manager should let the band make decisions. So here we go. Let the band decide about song arrangements and musical direction. So that's 2 marks there straight away. So this document says that you need to know when to make the band manager should know when to make decisions and when to step back and let the band decide about the song arrangements and the musical direction. So there we have 2 marks about band manager letting the band make decisions. So let's have a look at document 3 and see what we can find. Okay. So okay. So this is a different kind of document, so you'll have to read it differently. So this is from the band's point of view. So the previous document we was looking at, document 1, you can also open multiple documents at the same time. So here we have document 1 is from an author's point of view. So what makes a good band manager? So it's sort of giving an outside view of what a good band manager should be. This document here is advertising for an experienced band manager. So what they want. So this is from the band's point of view themselves. So we have to look and we have to read it a bit differently because it's from the band's point of view, not an outside view. So join us and we will make history together, just as long as you don't try to change our lineup and our look. So they believe they should have the choice, the decision about their lineup and their look. So it's also a choice that they don't want the band manager to choose. They don't want the band manager to be involved in the lineup and the look of the band. They want to have control over this. So that's 4 marks there. It's written a bit differently, but these are the 4 marks. Summarizing views when the band manager should let the band make decisions. Okay, so let's move to question 10. Okay, according to the online resource, what are the 3 personal attributes that are needed to be a successful band manager? So here you should use the scenario to find out what document you're analyzing, because it doesn't say according to the online resource. So even I am not too sure which one's the online resource, but here when you select the scenario, you can see one is a magazine article, web page, and a flyer. And it's pretty obvious from reading these 3 that the web page is the one that's the online resource. So document 2, the online resource. So 3 personal attributes. So what are personal attributes? So they are qualities or characteristics of a place, person, or thing. So we're looking for characteristics. So this is about. So we need to look for specific words that are related to um, characteristics, a quality of a person. So before you sign, you need to make sure that you are sufficiently driven to cope with the role. So being sufficiently driven is of course a personal attribute. Okay, is there any more that we can find? Let's have a look. It goes without saying that confidence and communication skills are really important. So that's 2. So we found all 3 within the first paragraph. So confidence, communication skills, and being sufficiently driven are all 3 personal attributes. Okay, so there we have it. 3 marks. So question 11. This question is very, very important, guys. Compare the author's opinions of contracts in documents 1 and 3. So this question is very, very common again in exams. So comparing and contrasting. So what are this? So comparing, what's the similarities and the differences of the opinions of contracts? So the key word here is the author's opinions of contracts. So we are looking for what does the author in document 1 and document 3, what do they say about what is their opinions of contracts themselves? So we know what an opinion is. So someone's belief, their view on something. So what does document 1 say and what does document 3 say? So I would advise you can open both documents as I showed you earlier, because this will allow you to sort of compare it more effectively. Okay, so document 1. So here we have it in the third paragraph, I believe. Arguably, the most important and interesting aspect of your job is to negotiate all the relevant contracts with the various parts of the music industry, from merchandising deals to recording contracts and venue contracts to publicity rights. So this is saying important and interesting. These are opinionated words. This is the author's opinion, and he's talking about the contracts. So his opinion is that um, contracts. So let's word this correctly. So document 1 states that negotiating contracts is important and interesting. So that's what the author here is saying about contracts, L. Baden. So he's saying the most important and interesting aspect of your job is to negotiate all the relevant contracts. So how is this similar in document 3, or how are they different? Okay, so knowledge of the industry is essential if you are to get the job, and then the ability to negotiate those boring but all important contracts with publishers, record companies, and venues is crucial. So the author here is saying that contracts are boring, but they're also important. So but you can see that both documents agree that contracts are an important aspect of the job. But this document 3 saying contracts are boring, whilst document 1 says they're an interesting aspect of the job. So how we can compare this in a articulate manner? Let's say, however, document 3 states that contracts are a boring aspect of the job. However, despite this, both documents agree that contracts are an important part of the job. Okay, so here we have it. So we've gained the 4 marks because we've stated the author's opinion in both instances. The document 1, important, interesting, that's 2 marks. Document 3, contracts are boring, but both documents agree that the contracts are an important part of the job. So not only have I compared the similarities, I've also compared the differences. So this is how I've gained the full marks. Okay, so moving on to the final question, question 12. According to L. Baden, what are the 3 advertising tools you can use to sell tickets in your concert? So if you're not sure, we can have a look at the scenario again. Or L. Baden, I believe, is document 1. So what are the 3 of the advertising tools you can use to sell tickets at your concert? So you must use your analytical skills and the keywords within the question, advertising tools, to see what the answers are. So advertising. So let's look for a similar, the most profitable way to advertise. So here we have it. So we find the keyword to sell tickets. So may not be through TV or radio. So TV, radio, listing websites or magazines. So So the author here has given a number of different advertising tools. So it may not be through TV or radio, but on listing websites or magazines or a targeted email to your fan base. All of these decisions will be down to the brand manager. So he's given a number of tools. Even though he said it may not be through TV or radio, these are, again, they're more options of ways you can advertise and sell tickets to your concert. So you could also have had a targeted email to your fan base. Um, you can also have a look for any more that you can find in the document about advertising. So there we have it. So we've gone through all of the questions. I hope that this tutorial has been able to help you in preparation for the reading exam. Thank you all for watching, and I shall be back soon for the writing tutorial. So thank you all for listening. Thank you.